Do you know? So, iPhone is looking for a clean detox. So, here's the thing. So, why don't you unmute yourself, please, and let's talk a little bit about detox.
Hi, sorry about that. I didn't realize it was showing up as iPhone. My name is
Oh,
Alexa.
okay. Welcome, Alexa. So, why are you looking for detox?
So my pup has so we found out that his I guess the so he's having some degenerative problems from his kidneys. Like his kidneys have started to degenerate apparently. I guess the proteins are borderline high.
Okay.
And then he was in the past on I mean, I guess regular conventional kibble, and he had the vaccinations and he had the flea and tick. So I'm trying to move him over to holistic, but I just want to get all that stuff out of there.
Well, see, here's the thing. So, this is for everybody. This is a frequently asked question, Alexa. So if you think about it was Alexa or
Yes,
Alex?
yes. Yeah.
Alexa.
Either way is
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Um, and so this is the most important piece for everybody to understand. And thanks for leading into that, segging into it for us. And Dr. Jeff, can you be jotting down like just the name, like Mara Cushing's? Because while I'm talking, I'm missing. There's a bunch in the chat so that we can get back to them easier. Usually I can do it, but can't seem to do it today. So here's the thing. We wherever each of us, people and animals, are on a journey of health. Each of us is born with a unique energy pattern, and each of those energy patterns is susceptible, sensitive to certain things that we may never know. So, some dogs are very sensitive to vaccines, and clearly, after vaccines produce symptoms, drugs, chemicals, toxins, etc. However, lots of other dogs or cats don't have any problems with those. And most things, so what happens is we have this energy field, and if they're sensitive to something, say vaccines, it pushes that energy field off balance. It twists it, it deforms it. If you think of prana or chi with Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic, it causes blockages. And then that, in an effort to get back into balance or homeostasis, the symptom, it produces symptoms. So the symptoms are not caused by the vaccine or the toxin. Usually, I mean, if feed a poison, you're going to get poisoning symptoms, really poisoning right away. That's different. We're talking about the long term. So it produces symptoms. Sometimes one symptom, sometimes multiple symptoms, sometimes one symptom that's more superficial, like itching. And then if that's suppressed with drugs, it moves on to another symptom that's a little more serious. The goal then, so the vaccines went in the body, and the vaccines are out of the body, basically. The effect they had on the energy field, if it was sensitive to the vaccines, is still there. And we know that because there's symptoms being produced. Does this make sense?
Well, before you answer that question, you've got the next step, which is you need to energetically detox them, which is
I was I
basically,
was I was going to get to that. I want to see first, does
I
this make
apo-
sense that we're throwing off balance and it's not the thing we gave that causes the problem?
Yes.
Okay, so therefore, there's no need to detox. The time to do a detox, if you think you want to do that, would be right after something happens. However, what there is a need to do is to rebalance. So the energy field is off balance, producing symptoms. And what what you need to be doing is to soothe the symptoms while rebalancing the underlying energy field imbalance. And that's the real detoxing, as Dr. Jeff said. Now, kidney disease is pretty serious. So therefore, this is something at the same time we're working
Yeah, yeah,
at
yeah. The train was a little bit late coming in, so I
whoever
had
said the
to.
train
Yeah,
should mute.
yep,
You can mute her.
I'll
Okay.
mute everybody. Yep.
And then I'll unmute me.
Yeah,
Okay, we're
you're
fine.
all set.
I'm
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so Alexa, with we do two things. We work at rebalancing the energy field and we soothe any symptoms that are there. So, kidney disease. Now we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty. I'm assuming you're not a member of Holistic Actions.
I was, and I did go
Okay.
through the library, which was helpful, but not, I couldn't really get specific answers to what I need.
Okay. So, in doing the 101 course, the first lesson on symptoms basically said we need to soothe symptoms and rebalance the energy field. And we rebalance the energy field by getting a homeopathic veterinarian who can work virtually and or a Chinese medicine veterinarian, chiropractor, etc. So the answer to what you need to do to detox, and particularly with a disease that may have some pathology going on, is to get a is to get a veterinarian to be working with. We have an article on that. Did you read the article about how to find one?
Yeah, I have one.
Good.
It's not his main concern right now because he's also having digestive issues, so we're just working on that. But I guess I'm just curious if for I guess my question is if he were to come across something toxic or he would have to be given something toxic, I'm just saying hypothetically, like
Uh-huh.
what would you use to detox that?
Again, especially when you have some serious problems going on, I would be using energy medicine. And the fact that your veterinarian is saying, well, I'm not going to focus on the kidneys, I'm going to focus on the digestive, makes me think that maybe they're not really looking at the underlying energy and they may be using holistic approaches to treat specific problems. So you may need to relook. Are they doing Chinese medicine or homeopathy or what?
I know he's giving him some Chinese herbs and he does work a little bit with Chinese herbs, but yeah, he's kind of the only one in my area.
Well, if you go back and read the article, homeopathic veterinarians can work by phone, work
Yeah,
virtually.
I'm in Canada, so the ones that I was able to find, even the ones in the States, the wait lists are insane. I can't get.
Um, did you try Wanda Vakarov?
Yes, she's not taking any clients right now.
Oh, bummer. Um, Call her again and say that that Dr. Christina Chambreau recommended that she call you. See if that gets you in, okay?
Okay.
Often that will. And then let's see, you're not currently, if you would, I've got a couple of other people who right now are definitely taking people. Um, and I'll try to post it before the end. But if I don't get it posted, then email me at healthyanimals@aol.com. And if anybody has questions, and wants more support, that's what I do is work with people more, sort of like the HA calls, but longer and more in depth.
Okay. Thank
And
So,
you.
I just want to answer I mean, that was a great
yep.
answer from the energetic perspective, which is the most important, but from the physiologic perspective, there are really just two things. We're trying, what is detox? It's basically the body's natural ability to get rid of those bad things that Dr. Christina was talking about, that you may or may not be susceptible to. And the very best way to detox is liver support and fiber. So, like for example, I use a product called Fiber Detox, which is designed to help the body detox. There's also a product called Hepato True Benefits, which I think you can order in Canada from VRS, from Veterinary Recommended Solutions. That'll have a combination of supportive factors to liver, and Adored Beast has a wonderful liver detox. But yeah, we do need to go on, Dr. Christina. But
Thank you.
well, you're welcome. Glenda asked about introducing your pups to whole food diets when they're on kibble.
Well, and that's for everybody. Thank you for wanting to do that. And if it's a pup, you basically don't even need to wean them. Most of them do great. You can just switch to a fresh food diet. And so, Glenda, whether you're a member or not, if you go to the 101 holistic course and do I think it's lesson 2 is about nutrition and feeding. So here's the shift that everyone needs to make about food is it's not about finding a better dog food. It's about realizing that we want to feed food ingredients, the same quality that we're purchasing for ourselves, whatever quality level that is. And to realize that eating the same thing twice a day, even if it's a commercial raw food diet, may not address everything because different foods have different qualities. Having said that, dogs are really great. And if you just increase their fresh food level, dogs and cats, they're going to be more healthy. But since you've got a pup, it's time, you want to do a little research. And so that's why I say start with the 101 course and do the nutrition section. And you can be feeding whatever you're eating if you're not a vegan or vegetarian. And there are a few things you need to be careful of, and we're not going to go into details here, but you want to be sure you're feeding calcium, bones, chicken necks, rib bones, depending on the size of the animal, and organ meat, and a variety of proteins, which can include egg, dairy, etc. Any other quick keys on that, Dr. Jeff?
Now, fresh and varied are really the two words that, will get you the biggest bang for the buck. But like Christina has said before, what you feed is really good for giving fuel to the body, but depending on the individual energetic susceptibility, they may do fine on whatever you're feeding. So just do your best.
Absolutely.
Yesterday I spoke with somebody that was feeding somebody who's actually an animal communicator and a medium for people. She's feeding her dogs kibble. So we were talking about what you can do to maybe shift over, and I said, well, what do you eat? Would you eat fresh food or processed food? She said, no, I'd never eat a processed diet. So what did we decide on? She's just going to share her own food with the dogs.
Right. And we'll do the follow-up with Bettina, which is calcium for cats. When you say kelp powder, there's a huge variety of kelp powder. The only one I would say to use for calcium would be Animal Essentials calcium from seaweed. It's specifically pulling the calcium out. Just kelp powder, I would say, is insufficient. And there are you can do bone meal, eggshell powder that you buy, eggshell powder that you make, or eggshell from calcium from seaweed from Animal Essentials. And there are some standard process products that can sort of cover that as well for calcium. And then Cushing's is next. So, Mara,
Hi.
are you a member of Holistic Actions?
Yes, I believe
Okay.
so.
So from all that you've read at Holistic Actions, what do you think the answer is for a disease as severe as Cushing's, if it is Cushing's?
I mean, based on everything else, like nutrition and like energy and, what they're receiving, like eating and underlying, deeper issues.
So you need to be working with a virtual homeopathic veterinarian or really good Chinese medicine, one of those two, or Ayurvedic, but that's not very available. So you must be doing one of those two things. You are not able to treat this on your own unless it's really not Cushing's. And that goes back to the kidney as well with Alexa. Sometimes the values are off and you have to look at the trend of what's going on. So you need to be I think you're working with somebody who's good enough to be able to make that distinction, but particularly those who are going to conventional veterinarians, they'll see a little bit of
Right.
Sorry, I got more.
They will sometimes they jump to diagnoses because that's what we're trained to do. So just make sure with all of that. And then you want to be doing the HMDM, holistic medical decision making. What's your goal? Are there some specific symptoms you want to soothe and address, or can you just dig in and start working on the energetic balance with your energy work as well as the veterinarians that we talked about? And so that would be your next step.
Okay. I received the email from Dr. Jeff about how to go about booking an appointment and stuff. But yeah, I haven't what is the best way, especially after someone just said that it seems like the wait list is really long. Um, what's the best way to work with someone who can advise in that way?
Well, number one, Jeff, what's your wait list? What's your wait time for taking her on?
Or for members, there isn't one.
There's no wait list, Mara.
Okay.
So if you want to work with Dr. Jeff, there's no wait list. If you want to work, there are some other, as I mentioned, there's some other homeopathic vets, and I'll try to enter them. But if you go to the website for the Academy of Veterinary Homeopathy to phone consulting, there are other ones listed there as well. But we can certainly we'll give you a couple. You could do, Dr. Jeff, if you can put Adriana Segura and Judith Herman in there. I don't think they have much of a wait list, a month at the a few weeks at the most. Dr. Segura often may have a wait list of 3 weeks or so, but she'll she cures animals so quickly sometimes, or they decide not to work with her, that she can often get you in sooner, depending on how much of a crisis it is. The key is get on a couple of wait lists and then decide who you want to work with.
Okay. Is there
Don't
anything I
wait.
can do in the meantime? Should I just make, right now he's on a raw diet, and then I also give him some sweet potatoes or bananas, berries, things like that. Should I just make sure that he's having, because he's very hungry throughout the whole day, should I just make sure that he's
Mm-hmm.
getting
And
that glucose throughout the day?
yeah, and it doesn't matter. It's like make him happy, because the happier a person or animal is, the more likely they are not to even get the symptoms. Bernie Siegel is a pediatric oncologist who's one of our speakers at Holistic Actions. And he had a dog he took to the vet, and the vet said, "We need to euthanize him today." And he called home to bring the family, and his son said, "Dad, we don't do that. Bring him home and we'll just love him." The dog lived another 4 years. I don't know what the problem was. So, love, definitely feed him as much as he wants, whatever he wants.
Yeah, and just one other word, Mara. Cushing's diagnosis, the most common problem is there are no problems. There are a lot of dogs diagnosed with Cushing's that never need any treatment, that do just fine. So yeah, so it is important to get everything in contact, feed the fresh fairy diet that you're already feeding, and definitely do what is going to bring your dog into that zone of joy as much as possible. So even beyond happiness, you can help a dog get into the point where they are able to be joyful without any external stimulation. So you start that just by focusing every couple hours on what he or she loves to do. Might be a little treat, it might be a sniff walk that takes 3 to 5 minutes, maybe playing with the toy. But yeah, that is going to be your biggest bang for your buck, is a combination of fresh, varied food and zone of joy. Just beyond happiness, for sure.
Thank
So, sure, I hope to talk soon, Dr. Christina.
Okay, who's next?
Uh, uh, Michelle asked about.
Yeah, I think I am. I can ask you guys a question quickly.
Okay.
My dog had profound allergies, and I've over time been able to work to get her to eat a lot of raw fruits, vegetables. But before that, she was eating primarily vegetarian, and I was giving her these kind of supplements, greens, rough greens. Do you think do you think these kinds of supplements are necessary now that her diet has expanded?
It depends.
Right,
So
right.
here's the thing. This is like an ongoing. So for me personally, I'm eating a relatively varied diet of mostly organic ingredients.
Mhm.
And then I go, should I be eating spirulina, blue-green algae? What about the water in the air and the food doesn't have enough nutrients? And should I add in omega? I don't know. So what I do and what I've done with my animals is I do some for a while and then I do another one for a while and then I do another one and then I don't do anything.
Yeah.
And part of it has to do with keeping a journal, which is a member benefit. So you can download the Healthy Dog Journal and tracking symptoms, the early warning signs of illness. If you notice that the hair coat's not as shiny, then you go, okay, well, pretty much I'm doing everything. Let me try blah, blah, blah. And so, and if there's cruciate ligaments, you were
Yeah.
commenting on that.
Yeah, she has a strain, so
Right. So
she's
for
on
that, you
she's
need to
on
be,
pain meds now.
oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to, have you put together your holistic healing team? Do you have a holistic vet?
I do yes. Yes.
Okay, well, you need to be talking with your holistic vet about not drugs, but what
Yeah.
else? So, osteopathy, chiropractic, homeopathy, Chinese medicine can all help with that. And more than powdered greens for cruciate, I'd be thinking of green-lipped mussel, uh, glucosamine. There's specific joint supplements that are out there. And cruciate ligaments, basically, most of the time, even if they're completely torn, we've been able to resolve them.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Glinda, Flea and Tick. Um, so if you're a member of Holistic Actions, one of your member benefits is the Fleas Be Gone book that I wrote that gives you a whole wide range of understanding the flea cycle as well as things to try. Have not edited it recently, so I would add, in addition to Miyoko's Earth MD Outdoor Shield, which is good in Canada, essential oils. Um, there are companies, Essential EO. Is that it? EO Essentials? Oh, I forget which order it's in. With
Animal
Oh,
heal?
that's it. Animal EO by Melissa Shelton, who's a veterinarian, and she has a combo for fleas. But basically, healthy dogs or cats do not get fleas unless they get super exposed. They just don't. Maybe one now and then. So you want to be flea combing if you're not using anything. But it's best. That's a sign that they're not completely healthy if they get fleas. So it's like you're preventing that clue. In terms of ticks, we had a great talk by Dr. Judith Herman on ways to prevent ticks when you're hiking with your dogs, for instance. There are a lot of different possibilities. I would add to this list, to the things people have suggested, one called tickless.com. It's a tag that is ultrasound rather than um, the zero bug zone and many of the other ones that are tags that are more EMF. And the nice thing about the tickless is you can swim with it. You can you can start it and stop it. You don't have a month-long creating the shield field, different things. So right now I'm sort of liking that. And then for the yard, flea destroyers is the nematode that I'm recommending, just because it's a better packaged product and so less likely to not be effective. So those would be, but there's tons and yep. And if you aren't a member and you want to get the book, it's a Kindle book by me. Okay, Crystal, a remedy protocol for antimonium cruda for recurring corn. Okay, Dr. Jeff, you get to do that one.
I thought you would actually skip that one because the answer is it depends, and that's not very satisfying. And
Yeah, but there's a little
so,
more.
yeah, no, we homeopathy doesn't really use protocols. So it's based on the entire medical history of the individual. It's based on things outside of corn, and in fact, corns and any external manifestation of the body is almost always secondary to an energetic shift that's not related necessarily to the lesion itself. So again, I don't have a protocol because it's got to be individual.
Now,
All
do you
of
want to,
homeopathy.
if you want to speak, if you want to chime in on that, the other thing is it causing a problem? Sometimes corns do cause problems, but most of the time they don't cause a problem. And so then I'm wondering why you want to get rid of
Well,
it.
I'm thinking about Antimonium crudum is famous for the horny, the horny growths
Hmm.
that aren't really the same as, the kind of corns on the pads that
Right.
may be affecting lameness. So,
Well, that's why I'm wondering
what are
with
we
crystal
talking about,
if it's affecting
Yeah,
and the other
I
question
just
to Ann.
this
I'm
full
sorry.
list that got
Go ahead. What?
after his Dr. Pro and
Crystal, is
Dr.
that you?
Feinman.
Crystal?
They're both homeopaths, but they have other
No,
doctors on here too.
I don't.
Okay, that's Deborah. Okay, you muted her. Crystal, did you want to say anything about if the corn is causing problems?
It is not causing a problem. It's painless. It's on his outer, his little toe on the outside.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Would I like to get rid of this sort of skin discoloration that's under my nose that I only see when I'm on Zoom? Yeah, but it's not causing a problem.
I agree with you. Great.
And here's what can really happen is when you're keeping a journal and you have that in the journal, as you're doing different health things, as you're learning more from holistic actions about, mental, spiritual, physical, all those things, food, all of a sudden you'll try something and you'll go, oh my goodness, it's been 3 months and that corn has been gone. And it'll just go away. And that's healing from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. Thanks
So,
again.
you're welcome. So Mayoko, a bit of onion is fine. I don't recommend particularly adding onion to the diet. However, if you've cooked something and it has onion in it, don't be afraid to give it. But there's no real need to add it. There's a need to add garlic, but not onion, in my opinion. Now, arnica is so every homeopathic remedy, as Dr. Jeff spoke to a bit earlier, every homeopathic remedy treats the entire body, all symptoms, because it's treating the energy field that's out of balance. So in most cases, we want to carefully look at all the symptoms that are occurring now and have ever occurred in the past to give a remedy. Now, sometimes what's happened over the years, over the decades, is there are a few remedies that just seem to work for a lot of individuals. And arnica is one of them. If there's trauma that is blunt kind of trauma that's likely to produce a bruise, where's one of my bruises, that's likely to produce a bruise, and especially if the animal hurts enough that they don't want you to get near them, then arnica may help that individual. For 30 years, arnica never helped me, even when I had overexerted or even when I'd gotten hit. So it may or may not work because it may or may not be the right match. So she came home with a spay, giving some liquid. I mean, it doesn't look like. So here's the thing. This is why you need to have your own veterinarian. Here we are trying to give you advice about use a cone, not use a cone. I'd say take the cone off most of the time and watch her. Is she digging at it? Is she trying to open it up? 14 days is a long time. Usually they're sealed. It's completely sealed within, I think it's 48 hours. And usually within a week, they can't open it up again easily unless they're really digging at it. I definitely would stop the Medicam, and it sounds like you did. And then it's a matter of specifically looking at what's going on. Now, if you had given Arnica when she first came home from the surgery, that would have been the time.
And it feels the edges a little bit on the inside.
Okay, so I'm sorry, Miyoko again? Miyoko? Did you want to? And whether you give 200K or 30C, if she seems to be having trouble walking or being in pain, you can do either one. Two doses of 30C maybe in one day and see what changes, or one dose of the 200K.
Yeah, she's actually fine.
Good.
Doctor.
Then don't do anything.
No,
Take the
I
cone.
didn't give her the Medicam. She was kind of nutso for the first 24 hours, really nutso. And then now she's just calm.
Take the cone off.
Yeah, I mean, she did actually open the cone up and lick a little bit this morning while I was sleeping. I'm sleeping right beside her. But generally, I just have my eyes on her all of the time, and she seems to be doing fine. So I guess the arnica was all for naught.
But it's good to have on hand because you never know when you may need it for yourself or for her.
Right. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks. That's the observing piece of it. That's wonderful that you did a great job with. Good job.
Okay, thank you.
And Karen, having problem with anal glands. So for everybody, get the list of the early warning signs. If you're a member, it's in the member benefit. Is it in the 101 course, Jeff? I think so. Or you can go to my website, ChristinaChambreau.com, and in my free reports, there's a list of the early warning signs that show that the energy field is out of balance. And having repeated anal gland issues is one of those. Healthy dogs don't have problems, and cats don't have problems with that. So the increasing fiber is one thing that sometimes will help with that. So Dr. Jeff has already given you that. And if she starts scooting, you can usually totally take care of it at home yourself by doing hot compresses. Have a bowl of really hot water and dip the cloth in and put it against the butt for maybe 5-10 minutes, as long as she'll tolerate. And if they are full, you can even learn to squeeze them yourself. But usually if you catch it right as soon as she's scooting, you can do that. And you may want to do the bones a little more frequently. You're doing raw chicken wings. That's fine. So the bones are fine, and bones don't cause impacted anal glands. So you're doing fine.
The whole time I haven't noticed that they're full. I mean, when I feel around, it doesn't seem to me.
Yeah.
And when I took her for a base, I just started with a new holistic vet. And I mentioned that she's scooting probably every other week or so, not a lot. And she goes, well, that's too much. Let me look at her glands. And they expressed them. I said, yeah, they needed to be expressed. And they said, well, bring her in every month to have them expressed. And I was just like, oh, so what I'll do, I'll try I've always wondered whether the fiber would help. And just adding like vegetables, is that the kind of way
Well, that's one, but he also gave you a link there.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thanks.
He gave you a link for a fiber product. However,
excellent.
You have to know that if that works, it might be a temporary help only, and you're palliating. If there's an energy field imbalance that's causing that, then that's one symptom you list in the Healthy Dog Journal. If you're not a member, by the way, you can get the journal.
I am a member.
Okay.
I am a
I'm
member.
just saying, I'm saying to everybody, if you're not a
Okay.
member, you can get the journal that I keep mentioning, the journals on my website. You can either get the
Okay.
book or you can get the dog or the cat ebook, which are more currently edited. But
Okay.
it's just so you add it to the journal, and then you notice if the fiber completely gets rid of it, then maybe her body just needed more fiber. Not that the fiber fixed the anal glands, but that the fiber was needed for her to properly get the nutrients she needed to have the energy field be balanced. Now, the other things to do is experiment with some of the energy approaches that we have webinars on. And don't do an energy healing like Reiki or whatever to fix the anal glands, but instead to
Yeah.
make sure she's balanced overall. And once you start that and do that
Okay. Oh,
maybe
I
for
had
a
that other
month,
thing I never emailed you, but I don't know if it would
see if
help.
it gets better.
It just said like, thank you.
I did. I listened to your one of your interviews with Eva Cervantes and got the red light torch, and actually for my other dog. So maybe I'll just start because she has some very specific energy healing kind of things that I mean seem like that not intrusive at all, but maybe I can work on that with her too to
Yep.
see because I
So
okay.
again, all of it, there's a distinction that you need to make, which is we have an energy field that produces all the symptoms. We can rebalance it with multiple ways. And the key is to pay attention to all symptoms. So if you're
Yes.
doing red light for a specific thing, still pay attention to everything else.
Yeah, yes. Well, that's how she kind of all her material basically says do the overall thing. Don't
Yes.
think about it as a symptom.
Right.
Do it
Yep.
for the body, and
Yep. Perfect.
that makes sense to me. Okay, great. That's great info. I mean, I know I've noticed that her stools are not. I mean, I expected them to be less when I took her off kibble to raw meat, but they're sometimes they're not well formed, and I think
Okay.
part of that is the fiber probably.
Maybe.
And
But
I'll work.
again, I've had cats that had stools that were just as big as the tip of my finger and they didn't have anal gland problems.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
there, it's not the problem is fixed by fiber. It's the fiber may be needed to keep a healthy energy field or not. Or the red light therapy may, that's
Yeah.
the shift that we have to keep making. But you're doing good. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do want to just say something. Marie, if you can hear me, please do not unmute yourself because we keep hearing you. So unless we've called on you because you've posted in the chat, that would be nice. It just takes Jeff a minute to remute you. Thank you very much. Okay. A quick answer to Glinda. Do we need a probiotic daily for daily maintenance? It depends. It's back to that question that I had about what supplements should we be taking on a regular basis? In general, if there's no signs of underlying energy imbalance, there's a great beam, behavior, energy, appetite, mood. Quality of life is super, no problems. The hair coat doesn't stink, or the body doesn't stink, the ears are fine, the eyes are fine, etc. You probably don't need to do probiotics. Maybe on a regular basis, just as food, include things like raw goat's milk or some of the fermented beef, chicken, fish broths that are out there. Think about if you eat kimchi or kefir, things like that. See if your dog or cat will eat them. Now, if there are problems, then there are dozens of good probiotics. I like Mitomax, Mitomax, but I also like a whole bunch of other ones. Dr. Jeff has a favorite or two that he'll put in. But again, it's just who knows. Now, Jennifer, would you come on if you can unmute yourself? Great. So are you working with a holistic vet yet? No. Can't hear you, but you're not muted. Try. Nope, still can't hear you. Do you have the volume on your computer open? Okay, well, you can keep trying while I talk. Maybe you'll figure out what's doing it. Just holler, say, I'm here. So the vomiting, so again, it gets back to pretty much what we said earlier. And you may want to copy the chat because we had some kidney suggestions from the first person that we spoke with. And so you need to be working with a really good holistic veterinarian. So a virtual homeopathic veterinarian from anywhere. And although we address that sometimes it looks like everybody has a waiting list, get on the waiting list and then keep looking for ones that aren't. And because vomiting every morning shows that they're, not only is it kidney, but things are out of balance. So it's not just addressing vomiting, but it's addressing helping the kidneys so there's no longer any need to vomit. And depends on how bad the kidneys are. Usually they have to be fairly bad before they vomit. Dr. Jeff, any specifics for her to try when she gets off of the drug, in addition to finding a homeopathic veterinarian?
For kidneys, I would definitely be adding structured water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we are going to go back to probiotics for a sec, 'cause there is one called Azodil, which is designed to help, dogs and cats with kidney problems. So I'd probably do a course of that as well. But like we've said a bunch of times and 9 times, it really depends on the whole full context of what's going on. What do we mean by, kidney problems or other issues? My kitty has a diagnosis of hyperthyroidism, cardiomyopathy, kidney problems. And she basically is doing great at 16 with those problems, with those labels. And all we're doing is structured water, fresh food diet, and homeopathy. And supporting her body as best we can. The other day, she went off her food and she was sleeping all day. She just bounced back, and we just know that they're gonna do the best they can do as long as we support them. That's basically what we're doing with all the supplements and probiotics and structured water and everything else is just supporting the body while it does its job.
And being patient when symptoms appear and seeing if they'll go away on their own. Sometimes you will have a day where you don't feel quite as good. I woke up this morning just exhausted after a rest day yesterday from my travels. And I was like, oh, and I'm going, okay, well, we'll see what happens with this one. So we have a nail question. For those of you who are members, definitely listen to Judith Shoemaker's talk in the mobility month. I think it was last year. And she talked a whole lot about trimming nails, totally re-educated me. And she and I were in the same class in veterinary school where she said she learned how to do nails. I must have slept through it. So you're right that you don't want to use guillotine, and you're right. All of these suggestions of nibbling at the side, maybe using a Dremel. If you go online and search for Dr. Busby, YouTube, Dr. Busby nail trims, she shows a beautiful way to hold the dogs that's very gentle before you're doing the nail trims. That's video 1, and then video 2 is actually trimming gently from the side. So it might help with Elaine for working, with the problems with arthritis. Now, in addition, Elaine, Tiny Senior with arthritis and luxating patella, homeopathy has resolved many luxating patellas, and definitely fresh food, lots of energy healing. and homeopathy or Chinese medicine, osteopathy has helped arthritis significantly.
And I just want to add that I don't think that Judith's talk was fantastic about the nails, but I don't think she actually talked about specific nail trimmers. So Elaine, for Yorkie, I mean, we have a little cat that's about the size of a Yorkie, and we just use human nail cutters, and that works really well. And with them,
you used human nail cutters coming from the side, the way Judith talked about?
No.
Yeah, she said not to go straight across.
Amy does it, and she does it however she can grab the kitty and do it. Yeah.
So keep experimenting, but there are definitely but a lot of. So personally, I didn't think I was hurting the animals doing guillotines and going straight across, but they say it really does. The people who are saying this have observed that it really does make a difference. So love to have some of you like Jenny chime in on that in the chat. That would be wonderful. You've already started, but maybe you can add to that. Okay, Tanya, T4 level is below normal. So number one, back to our original, every time we say for every person, you can add supplements, absolutely, but why is the T4 becoming low? Why is the thyroid not producing the thyroid that it should? What's going on wrong with the endocrine system? See, we don't know where that's coming from. It could be coming from the brain. It could be coming from the thyroid. It could be coming from other endocrine organs where there's feedback loops. So the best approach to when you see the trend going lower is to begin working with a veterinary homeopath or a really good Chinese medicine veterinarian. And that is the best. Now, in addition, all the things we talk about in terms of feeding a fresh food diet, and there are like canine thyroid support from Standard Process, and Dr. Jeff will enter some supplements he may suggest. But the main thing, see, this is a clue that the energy field's off balance. So it's like, yay! Now, if I can give a homeopathic medicine prescribed and the thyroid returns to normal, then I know that this energy field is back in balance and is less likely to cause any other problem in the future. If I give an herbal supplement, a food supplement, and the thyroid returns to normal, I have no idea if I fix the underlying energy field. And down the line, we may get other problems. So that's why we want to go to the energetic fixing. Anything else, Dr. Jeff?
My only addition, Tanya, would be that low T4, which, by the way, that does not diagnose hypothyroidism because the most common cause for low T4 is not the thyroid itself. It's what they call sick thyroid syndrome or sick euthyroid syndrome, where the thyroid is actually normal, they return to normal when you address the underlying issues. So the question is, Tanya, and you can just write this in the chat, did your dog also have a free T4? Not just a resting T4, but a free thyroid.
And I just want to say for people who are just listening to this, thank you, Karen. Susan Garrett has a program called Pedicure Please. And this that helps you trim nails and have animals love it. And it's something we recommend at Holistic Actions, that you start now at whatever age your animals are, training them to really love you doing everything to them. Looking at their teeth so you can rub their teeth, opening their mouth so you can see if there's a rubber band caught around the cat's tongue, or multiple other things, to clean the ears, look at the ears, feel, and you learn how to feel the lymph nodes. Ask your vet to say, show me where the lymph nodes are. Holistic vets should love doing that. Trimming nails, taking the temperature, all of these things, and do that on a regular basis. once a month, every couple of months, depends on how healthy, young, old the animals are. So that's a great suggestion with Susan Garrett. I'll definitely be looking that one up.
I wanted to chime in on this because I've been doing the program and it's created an amazing connection with my dogs. You just wouldn't believe it. She says, start off with the intention of making the connection, not doing their nails. Because if you're trying to hurry up and clip their nails, it's not going to work. The program is to create this positive connection. And now my dog sees me take this bag out that has the stuff and he lays down waiting for me to do it. It's just amazing. Oh, I had to say something about it.
That's great. Good. No, that's wonderful. And that's why we want you to be able to do everything with your dog and cat and have that same interaction. And I guarantee same thing is for riding in the car. Oh, I can't get my dog or cat to the vet because they don't like to ride in the car. No, it's because you haven't worked with them to love riding in the car. 90% of them can get there. Not everybody, maybe, but probably the extra 10% is just because we haven't figured out what we need to do to make it work. Whitney, go ahead and come on with a remedy question.
Hello. I was trying to figure out how to ask directly in the chat, but I couldn't. So I've been working on my dog Siren's anxiety, and I just can't remember. I gave her Aconite 200C last week in the evening. She was fine for about 24 hours and then went back to being stressed. So I should give it to her again?
Well, you have two. So have you read the Materia Medica for Aconite, or are you just giving it because Aconite's for fear?
Well, Dr. Jeff and I talked about using Aconite.
Okay. So Dr. Jeff, I'll let you answer. If you guys talked about
that's a good way to put me on the spot. You know what? Now I'm going to say I have no recollection of us saying Aconite after the last time that we talked. Thought that we were addressing the underlying, was it, whatever remedy she was on. But if I did say Aconite and if it helped, and if you're doing it in liquid, then then just go ahead and success and do it again.
Okay.
And you may need to repeat it. 24-hour improvement for me doesn't sound like it's the right remedy, but it may be, and you may need to go up into multiple succussions or up to a 1M. Okay. But again, look at all the symptoms and read the Materia Medica for Aconite in several different books, including Don Hamilton's and a human book or two, and then see if all of her other problems that she's had over the years fit Aconite.
Okay.
Thanks. That was a perfect example for us. And guess what? Did we get everybody, Dr. Jeff?
I don't know. Elaine wants to know about Dr. Busby, and she asked me, but I don't know. So how do you spell Dr. Busby?
Busbey, I think. She has, and it's really a good thing to know about her site because she has these toe covers. It's called Dr. Busby's Toe Grips. Buzzy Busby.
Buzby, yeah.
Grips.
How to,
Buzby toe grips. So if anybody has an older animal or an animal that is because of, we've talked about cruciate and patellar luxations, if you don't have a carpeted house and they're slipping on the floors, then get these toe grips. They're easy to put on. They really, really make a great difference. And I talked with her. One of our members brought up a really wonderful point. They were looking ahead. They were getting another dog. They have wood floors throughout. They wanted to think ahead as to how they could prevent, what do they need to do in their house? Do they need to carpet the whole house because the dog slips on the floor? So I did an email round with Dr. Busby, And basically, she said, yep, probably when they're slipping on the floor, it's not the best thing for them, even when they're young. However, she said, I wouldn't even necessarily recommend buying my product, the toenail, the toe covers, unless there's evidence that they really are having trouble. So that's sort of the answer. If they're having problems, for sure, then you want to, I hope that doesn't make noise. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, just go to YouTube. I went to YouTube, Dr. Busby nail trim. I don't know how to turn it off fast enough.
Yeah.
And you can use old yoga mats and many other things on a regular basis, but then your house is sort of scattered with yoga mats, and use them when needed. And so, Glenda, if you're a healthy dog or cat will never develop tartar on their teeth. Now, some animals will become healthy in every way that we know with homeopathy, Chinese medicine, energy, and they still seem to have tartar on their teeth. And it might have 5 dogs in the house, and one of them has tartar in the teeth, feeding the same, doing everything else. One thing to do is just rub hard. One of our speakers suggested that. I went to my personal dentist the next time I was in and said, does this clean my teeth? And she said, yes, absolutely. And with people, you have to floss because our teeth are close together. With dogs, they're not that close together. And then with dogs and cats, if you're feeding chunks that are big enough that they sink their teeth into it and they have to use those back molars to like that. Number one, they're getting chiropractic adjustment. Number two, they're cleaning the teeth. And never decide you need to use kibble that's made for dental. That does not help, because kibble, they're either just inhaling it or it's just getting the flat surfaces. It's not going up and cleaning them. So it depends, Glenda, on the dog. So I think, well, we're over time, and I think we got almost all the questions answered. Thank you all for asking quickly at the beginning. That made a big difference for us this time. It really did. And I just want to thank each one of you because, you're thinking. You took an hour of your week to be here, and you're thinking about how to have our animals live the long possible life without you being stressed. That's one of the keys here, is that we're not stressing each other. And thank you, Jenny, for always being here and helping with your input. It's appreciated.
Well, thank you, Dr. Christina, for those wise words. Thank you all for your time and energy, and we'll see you in September. We'll see you at the end of the month. If you remember, we're not going to have a webinar on Labor Day, but we'll have one about happiness. September is our month about bringing more happiness to our dogs and cats. It'll be on September 8th, so a week from Monday, and we'll see you then. Thank you, Christina. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you all.